great Chiefs teams, and it's something that fans have really enjoyed on game day, and also people who come to the stadium for tours. But we also felt like we needed to update it. 11 years have passed by. There are a lot more players in the Chiefs Hall of Fame, and so we've really updated it. We've added another Super Bowl trophy to it, and a couple of more trophies as well.
I got to feel you're going to need to make some more room down there.
we left appropriate room to expand for sure.
Punt here from Townsend. Had a good preseason. And the ball will be down at the 12-yard line. We got to take a break, we promise. Clark Hunt will be with us when we come back after break. We continue our conversation about the 2021 Kansas City Chiefs.
Major Chuck.
Old Trapper Beefs. Last bag.
You know there's plenty for both of you.
Old Trapper. What's your beef?
An F-150 isn't an F-150 because of the name on the tailgate. It's an F-150 because it's built for tough, built to haul more, built to tow more, for the people who count on it. Because they know that brawn can get the job done, but it takes brains and brawn to get it done right. Tough this smart.
Okay.
Can only be called
Throwback.
F-150.
Players, you're part of that 100 freaking nature.
They look at dog. You can catch everything. But 100% top 100. You don't have that same intensity. It's going to complete.
So you gotta read them.
There is the statue of Lamar Hunt outside the stadium here at GEHA Field at Arrowhead Stadium. We're thrilled to continue our conversation with Clark Hunt. Imagine your father and the whole family must be so proud of the current state of this franchise, because Trent and I are lucky to get to be in a lot of other buildings around the league, and the culture from top to bottom has you guys set up for long-term success.
Yeah, well, we're very fortunate to have a great group of leaders, starting with Mark Donovan, Andrew Reid, Brett Veach. They've really done a tremendous job all the way around with the franchise. I think Andy and Brett particularly did an outstanding job this offseason. We obviously had to rebuild the offensive line, and based on the preseason games to this point, I think the early returns on that are very good. So as you look forward to the season, I think it's very, very exciting. I'm looking forward to being able to run the ball probably more than we have in the past with the big offensive line, and I know Andy will have a bunch of tricks up his sleeve as well.
Well, I think they tried to establish in the run right away when you look at the way the game started off. But when we came back from commercial, we showed a statue of your dad. And I know one of the things that's important to him and important to your whole family is the Chiefs charity game. And that's tonight's game was the Chiefs charity game. Talk to us about that a little bit.
Right. This is the 37th year of the Chiefs charity game, and it's contributed more than $14 million back to the community. Supports a bunch of great organizations. This year, it's MOXA, Metropolitan Organization to Counter Sexual Assault. Really outstanding organization that supports young women and families who've been affected by sexual assault, and we couldn't be more delighted to partner with them tonight.
That's incredible. $14 million back into the community. That's great.
Cousins gets flushed out of the pocket. He's got to try to run for it. He's not going to get there. Forced out of bounds. Nicely by the rookie Nick Bolton. A solid job there from the Chiefs defense.
Did you see for a second there? He thought Cousins thought he was going to make it to the end, and Bolton got free. So you got to be excited about that draft pick as well. So excellent job with the young players.
Yeah, absolutely. That's been one of the great things to see throughout the preseason. Really, starting with OTAs and then going into training camp is how quickly this group of young players has been able to pick up the offense and defense. And I think a number of them are going to be early contributors.
Well, that was one of the things we had a chance to talk with Brett about. Depth on this roster. It's going to be difficult to make these decisions here in the next few days to finalize the roster.
Yeah, it sure is. Going back to the first two preseason games, watching our third and fourth strings play, I don't remember being that solid.
Hughes still in play. Gets another block, and Hughes untouched for the team touchdown.
Holding.
Hold everything. There's a flag all the way back at the 37-yard line.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Return team number 13. The penalty is 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down, Minnesota. Time out.
And you see Byron Pringle saying that's on me. Clark, we really appreciate you spending time with us. Congratulations on all the success, and we wish you a great 2021 season.
Thanks very much. Great to be here with you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Clark.
I'm going to piss my aunt off.
I'm really nervous. I don't know what I should wear. Just wear something not too crazy. Remember, it's a business dinner, not a costume party.
On the Spotty Network, this is what she heard.
Let me show you.
Wear something crazy. Remember, it's a costume party. Costume.
One.
First impressions
Two.
to just any network. Go with
I don't really use these, as you can see.
of 5G.
Anybody want to split a turkey leg?
We're not going to ask for discounts on floor models, demos, or displays. Shopping malls.
Here's my glasses.
Young homeowners turning into their parents. You ever think about the storage operation a place like this must rely on? They just sell candles and they're making over.
Totally aggravated her.
Don't be coy.
Oh, the coffee too. I forgot.
Koi fish. It can be.
Here, let me take a shot.
Thank you, sir. Have we seen the ship?
Progressive can't save you from becoming your parents, but we can save you money when you're bundled home and auto with us.
Well, you know what? I'm still going to get it.
If Mark, Mr.
Yeah, I'm not supposed to cough either.
didn't have the fighting spirit to draw out his passion, he never would have perfected the street look that made him a street legend. That's the fighting spirit. That's what makes him lion. Liddell, root for those with a fighting spirit.
Fall together with Lowe's. Labor Day values now in store and online. Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility.
Tonight, I'll be eating crab cakes with spicy aioli. Thank you.
Can we be besties, Simone Biles?
I guess.
Yes. Should we just not know?
Chiefs preseason football is brought to you by Storage Mart. Family owned since 1999 and the official self-storage provider for the Kansas City Chiefs. Find a clean, bright storage unit near you and rent online today. McKinnon is the running back behind Bouchel, 1st and 10.
Oh, great hole.
And McKinnon, real nice carry. Trent Woodruff. Check that, Trent. I'll come back to you. Let's go to Matt.
Hey guys, you see number 82, Therese Fountain in there now. One of the stories of this preseason has been so much fun to watch. He's been targeted 9 times and caught 7 of those for 92 yards, including that big 41-yard catch last week. So let's see what he can do here tonight. One of those bubble guys trying to make the roster, but he's really impressed so far.
He has been through training camp into the preseason. Fountain has been a guy that has shined. He certainly flashed on tape. Got a chance to make this team. This is Marcus Kemp. Kemp's already made a great play on special teams, and there he gets the catch across the 40-yard line. So Fountain is a guy, if you look At the decisions coming up for Brett Veach and the team, he's got to be in that mix to maybe be that last receiver.
Well, you would think so. You know, he brings a different look than what a Tyreek Hill at 5'10" or McCall Hardman at 5'10". Brees Brown is 6'2", 210 pounds. He had 3 years in Indianapolis. This is his first year in Kansas City. Looks like a Vikings player is down on the field with an injury. But Brees Brown is making an impact here so far in training camp.
Well, to show that Horton has been amazing, and based on everything we've heard about Horton, it seems like he's locked himself up a spot, but tough decisions still to come. We'll be right back.
We put a lot of stress on our feet. It's no wonder they ache. Introducing ArchFit from Skechers. ArchFit distributes pressure across the arch, providing balance and support to make walking more comfortable. The machine washable and available for men and women. ArchFit, new from Skechers.
Why do I do it? Because I love the challenge? God, no. I do it for the beer.
Wake up. Welcome to Good Morning Football.
I cannot wait to see this one.
Storylines all over the league. We got breaking news here, folks.
The most hyped regular season game we've ever seen. This is a huge deal. No doubt, undeniably, the best running back in football.
So excited to introduce our next guest.
I like to come in once a week.
It's going to be an absolute party.
Make every morning a good morning. Boom. That's the NFL that just keeps on coming. Good Morning Football. Only on NFL Network. Okay. Is this so weird? Not the best guitar lesson. At least you can watch it on fast. Welcome to me. Cox Internet, #1 for
Funny.
video, according to Nielsen data.
At ASML, our machines build smarter,
Smaller, faster computers and technology. Impacting almost every aspect of human life. We're building one big machine with 4,000 engineers. Redefining the boundaries of human technology. From idea creation, design, supply chain management, manufacturing, logistics. We do it all here on the screen.
now we need people that are willing to pick up the torch and continue to solve the hardest problems.
Trav. Watching Chiefs and Vikings. Look at Arrowhead, man. Arrowhead's packed for a preseason game. Boom. White Sox as good as they say. Hey, Ken Williams. He's not still the GM of the team, right? He's out, right? I forget who took over. Is that the old Cub guy? Or Brewer? What? Excuse me? I don't ignore anybody, Junior. Ignore. Oh, okay. What's up? Yeah, okay. I just got radioed. You're doing such a good job. Okay, what's up? Hectic times. Cardinals suck, dude. Travis, Cardinals suck. I can't believe how shitty. They have zero pitching. Hey, man, the Brewers, those three dudes that they have at the top of the rotation, you're not going to score runs on the Brewers. Hey, Chris, that winning streak that the Yankees are on, it's the longest since 63. He doesn't want to put the reverse juju on it. So, yeah. How about this, a Trev? It's the longest streak since '63 when they won all them ball games. That's impressive. Because that '63 team, yeah, Trev. When you're like tying Yankee records, that's pretty damn good. You got my attention now. How about the Padres getting swept? Oh man, stop believing in that horse shit. Mushed them. That's coffee cakes. Oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, you should have seen that, man. Little Coxer grew up, man, with Don Kankioka. Don Conchiorla. He was from. Yeah. Oh no, that's right. Right. Let me tell you, the one guy that they had to make sure they had to take out though was Colin Green. All right, a shot right in the eye. Listen, you don't come out here to Skull Island and talk to Colin Green like that. I did see Scott Zolak's comments. Hey, how about this? My friend Scott Zolak, he goes like this. He goes, listen, man, rap music is affecting, I'm paraphrasing it, is affecting Cam Newton's play. He needs to stop playing it. He's dancing all the time. Oh, man. I'm like this, dude. Why would you go there? Oh, great movie. I'll have to hit on Kong, fellas. Yeah. Tommy Kong was awesome. It's Friday, so we're going to have some fun here tonight. Dan Sileo, USA Radio. It's already started on my social media platforms. YouTube and Twitch, we appreciate all our friends coming aboard, like our friend Trevor. You'd like to join us, please do. It's how you can be part of the program as well. And if you're listening to our show in one of our fine cities through USA Radio Networks, we really appreciate it. But I want to start my show out by thanking our military. Not the people in Washington, but our military. Thank you. You shouldn't be put in harm's way handing out candy bars, water, cover for our allies in Afghanistan. But that's what our government has put these brave servicemen and women in. And they have done this for the last, 20 years? And it's all this last week is raining down on these people here. Why politicians are arguing, pointing fingers back in Washington. Our brave men and women are saving lives. It's the greatest team. You know, I'm a sports guy, but I do kind of like a guy talk show. So what's ever on my boggle, that's kind of where I'm at, you know? The other day I was feeling kind of down on where our country was. Then I started thinking about it, and I'm going like this. Wait a minute. Those men and women that represent the United States of America are the greatest people that our country can produce. You know, handing out candy bars and water to Afghani civilians who helped us fight this war on terror for the last 20 years, and watching these brave men and women do this, medics in harm's way, okay? I mean, suicide bombers. We get this, when you're patting them down, these men and women are there trying to save as many lives as they can. And people, like I said, back in Washington are politicizing it as they always do. Life and death. See, the problem that you're having now with America is that Americans are now seeing that you've put these soldiers in harm's way. Now they're calling all of you out. And that's when you start to hear that bell ring, when every American in the country is calling you out, no matter what your affiliation is. And by the way, the military, you know, I'm starting to point more fingers over there. Besides Joe Biden, I'm pointing him over there. You mean to tell me after 20 years? How about this? Watch this. You mean to tell me in the NFL, I can figure out in about, 10 games if a quarterback sucks or not? You can't figure out over 20 years if a soldier sucks or not? Well, then guess what? I got the wrong dudes evaluating my team. And I want that guy replaced and removed before he kills someone else. You see the difference between my sandbox of football and that sandbox that are evaluating soldiers? That gets people killed. That creates havoc and wreaks havoc in America. What's said in Afghanistan doesn't stay in Afghanistan. Who the hell are these people evaluating the soldier talents around the world that we're pumping all this money in? What was it, $1 trillion over 20 years? And nearly 7,000 American lives were lost. For what? For the Taliban to have their flag flying over the Capitol on 9/11. Great. Mission accomplished. Not for us. Because of our dopiness, incompetence at its highest level. Oof. People, do you know what this week has done? It's exposed everyone. It really has. You're not as smart as you think you are. And you know what? You're as trustworthy as I thought you were. Not very. I would have to think if you asked an American, no matter if it's Republican or Democrat, do you trust anybody in Washington? Who would you say you trust right now? Jeez, criminy. What a week. Started out with Andrew Cuomo resigning. And then it ended with what we're saying and seeing. Oof. I don't know, man. I just say this to you. These people that are at the Pentagon, they need a reality check. And you know what I would do? Just like a bad football team, I'd replace every single person over there. And if you didn't have Americans' number one interest at heart, and hey, by the way, if you were, I'm gonna tell you guys a story today, okay? I'm gonna name the guy too, because he said it's okay. You guys don't know who Duncan Smith is. Duncan Smith is the head of the SEAL teams, and I spoke to him today. And you know how aggravated he was? He wrote me a text that could have took 10 pages up, that he wanted to get something off his mind. Of course, I would never make it public. He told me there's SEALs right now in Afghanistan. You know what they're doing? They're going in the dark of night. And the people that can't get to the airport, do you know these SEALs are guiding them to the airport at night and undercover? They can't do it during the day because you know why? The Taliban are lying. They're not giving safe passage. They're beating these Afghan people who helped Americans. And the American civilians that are there in Afghanistan, they're beating them too. So he told me they're not stopping them, but they're beating them on the way to let them know on the way out the door. It's why they're shooting at the planes. He said if these guys weren't sitting around worrying about critical race theory and looking for racism inside the military and were doing their jobs on coming together and formulating a plan, maybe we wouldn't be in this place. Have to agree. Don't you? Have to agree. We worry about some of the dumbest stuff in this country. The dumbest stuff. The January 6th thing, dude, we got men and women dying. 13 servicemen just were murdered. Okay? That's a real issue. That's a real issue. That's a real problem. Because what, you don't think that's Taliban and all of those folks are going to retool and you're not going to have a diving board in Afghanistan for all the terror that's going to go on around the world? It's going to happen again. Man, our military, we put them in such a bad place. And by the way, I blame everybody. Hey, maybe I even blame us because we put these idiots in Washington. Unbelievable. You know what, too? Certain people in this country have a problem, okay, with who are coming in from Afghanistan. We owe those folks. But you just let people in the southern border walk right through. Makes no sense. Our priorities are not on the same track to make America spectacular. Dude, man, when you're cleaning house and you're trying to create a culture in a new football team or a new baseball team, you get rid of all the riffraff and you get rid of all the dissenters. Let me tell you this, man. When Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones went into the Dallas Cowboys, do you know what those guys told me? They fired every single dude but 6 people. And those 6 people, guess what? They were thankful to keep their gig. They fired everybody. Because you know why? They didn't want people thinking, hey, you know what? The way that we've been doing things here for 20 years was the way that they were going to do things moving forward. Fired everyone. Everyone. I think that's the right thing to do. If you don't want to come along, go along, move along. Just move out. That is exactly what I would do. It'd be like me hiring a producer from the show previously that I was on. And by the way, this has happened because this is what a lot of radio companies will do. You know what they'll do? They'll fire a host and yet they'll keep the same producer in the building with the guy they fired. And you know that guy has unless you're doing national radio, then it's different. But when you're doing local radio, that guy's going to have an affiliation for the last show that he was working on and for the guy that got him the job. You're going to have pushing back and forth. It's never a good environment. Fire everyone's ass. Get them out of there. That's how I believe too. Man, I have so much respect for our men and women that fight for our country and our rights. Thank you. Really do. All right. May I say something about sports teams and vaccinations again? I want to ask a philosophical question to you. And if you want to respond here on my social media platform here, my YouTube or my Twitch channel, please do, and I'll read it on the air here. I have a question for you. So now, the NFL is trying to have mandated, and they want to have vaccination tests every day. And all these protocols that they're putting on some of the players, especially the ones that aren't vaccinated, they're making it more difficult for the non-vaccinated. And what you're also doing is you're villainizing them in the same process. Follow me here. So there's people that are now testing positive that got the COVID-19 test, took the vaccinations, and they're now coming down with COVID-19 again. Mind you this, the intel's not saying it's the new variant, the new Delta variant. They're not saying that to these guys. Not every one of these folks has the new Delta variant. But people that are getting the vaccination are catching it again. So what does that lead you to believe? If you had any, how about this? Do I think they work? Kind of. That's just my opinion. Kind of. Do you think there's people out there that don't think they don't work? You bet I do. For the record, Dak Prescott, Josh Allen, Carson Wentz, some of the starting quarterbacks in the NFL. Hey, Lamar Jackson. They're not vaccinated. And why is that? I think it's because of what I said a couple minutes ago. Do you think the COVID-19 vaccinations work? Kind of. I think they kind of work. Then they come up with this new science, I guess. Well, if you took the 2 shots, you have a lesser chance of getting ill. Really? I thought if you were in a certain demo and you were in your 30s, you already had a lesser chance of getting really ill from it. Oh, but the new Delta variant. Oh, okay. So this is new science then. Funny, when I go to the CDC website, that's not exactly what's being said on it. My point is this. Don't you see some of these people's points here? That maybe they're not trusting some of the science because it's too inconclusive. But you're going to villainize people who haven't taken it. I want to hit more on this. We'll do it next. You keep it right here on the Dan Sileo Show. Yeah, that movie Kong Fellows. Was up for a lot of golden coconuts. And that's such a wormy movie. As a as a comedy, yeah, it could be in that conversation. Robert DeCongo was really, it was, he was spectacular in that performance. True. Mhm. Oh yeah, wow. Hey, who are we playing tonight? Oh yes. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a butcher knife, and the next time I see that Godzilla guy, I'm going to cut his tongue off. I don't know, nothing. He just aggravates me. Good. There'll be less fight. Oh, sure. This guy's got the brain of a walnut. How would he know how to play chess? Oh, really? Yeah, right. He couldn't spell Fisher Price, let alone Bobby Fischer. Guy's a dope. He's got the brain of a peanut. Oh, do you? No. Did he? Okay. Oh, that's actually funny. It's actually funny. Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. By the way, hour 2, Dave Wannstedt, the former Bear and Miami Dolphin head coach, will join us. He also is the proud owner of 2 Super Bowl rings as the defensive coordinator with the Dallas Cowboys. Pitt Panther as well. Thank you very much, Trevor, who's doing it on our Twitch channel as he's part of the program. We like people being involved on our social media pages. Thank you so much. By the way, I'm going to talk a little bit about Dak Prescott at the bottom of the hour, but I want to finish up on what I was saying about these vaccinations. Do you think they work? How do you know this? By the way, let me tell you what I'm doing here by asking these questions. And nowadays, you can't ask these questions, or you clearly can't post them on Twitter. You can't say anything or have any story on Facebook about it because people don't want you to talk about it. I'm going to. And you know what the reason why half this country or over half this country hasn't been vaccinated is because of the exact thing that nobody is willing to say and everybody has been beat down and afraid to say. I'm going to tell you what happened this week too because of this whole Afghanistan thing. I question everything in Washington now. Everything. Every single thing. I'm not hearing the truth out of the White House. I'm not hearing the truth out of the Pentagon. I'm not hearing the truth on the media. I'm not hearing the truth on TV stations, radio. I'm not hearing the truth from anybody. I don't believe anybody. Why would I believe this? Why would I believe this? You can't even tell me what's going on in Afghanistan. And I'm supposed to believe you? Why? Because you told me? How infantile. Am I really supposed to believe you? Why would I believe the government? Because they're honest? Truthful? Let me tell you something. There's two people making a killing off this thing. You know who they are? Television, news sources, and the pharmacia companies. The pharmaceutical companies. You own stock in the pharmaceutical companies? Good night. Holy cow. You imagine what Eli Lilly's up, or Johnson & Johnson, or any of these companies that are involved in putting this vaccination out there? Wow, man. Incredible. So if players are, why would you villainize somebody asking a question about anything? Are we supposed to just fall in line? Think of what Pfizer's making. Are we really supposed? Why can't we ask questions about it? What's the problem there? Here, if I'm Cole Beasley, the wide receiver who was fined $14,000 because he doesn't want to get vaccinated, and you know what? They're villainizing him up in Buffalo for this. Even though, get this, they activated him, I guess, today or yesterday, Thursday. And get this, just because he came in contact with somebody who may have tested positive. He had a mask on. He went through all the protocols, but they still put him in the procedure. He tested every day negative, but they still made him a villain. Why? Because you're trying to beat him down into taking it, even though he has questions about it. You know, Steven just said something about Dr. Fauci. I don't care about Dr. Fauci anymore. I don't listen to him. There's been so much inconsistency out of that guy's mouth. He sounds like a lying coach, as far as I'm concerned. I don't trust that guy. I don't have a problem with these players questioning this stuff. Hey, do me a favor. Podcasterwarehouse.com. Please check out the website. 25% off of everything. Okay? Promo code is Sileo, S as in Sam, ILEO. Podcasterwarehouse.com. That's podcasterwarehouse.com. All right. Dak Prescott may not play this weekend. I'm going to tell you what the ramifications of that is. We'll do it next. You keep it here on the Dan Sileo Show. Don't whisper. People who whisper, I question their validity. Thank you, Paul. Steven says, so does CBS Radio villainize Cole Beasley? The trainer was double vaccinated with mask and tested positive. Cole, no mask, no vaccination, no testing positive. It's a great question, Steven. From what I understand, too, the trainer had a third shot and he still tested positive. Get a third shot and you test positive? Good night. What? I didn't hear you. No, I didn't. I'm going to beat that guy's ass so bad. Now, every time you do that, it makes me just want to punch his face in more. No, I'm going to beat him with him. I'm going to beat. Get this. I'm going to beat him with a 32-ounce Louisville Slugger. How's that? Because of you. Oh yeah, with the extra wide grip. I'm going to beat him in the face with a stick. Yes, nothing. No, you're not, because you're bringing that dick up. I am. How do you think I got to Skull Island? Oh. Thank you. Anything with King in it, I'm good. That's what my daughter would say. Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. I think I think I maybe kicked some people in the side here a little bit. I like it. A lot of people responding here. Okay, thank you. I'm going to get to Dak Prescott here in a second. By the way, I have some terrible news. I've caught the coronavirus, and you know what it is? I got 10 Coronas waiting for me later on. And my beer. Yeah. Yes. I'm telling you, man, I'm making light of it. I'm sorry. That's the problem right there. That is such the problem right there with what I just did. Really? Okay. We can't say anything any longer. Okay. Huh. Interesting. People can goof on anything. Here, I'll give you a great example of this. A friend of mine, Scott Zolak, said something that wasn't very cool today. Said something about rap music and Cam Newton. Said that he should stop. He should stop listening to rap music because it interferes with his play. Wow. I don't know where that plays into anything. Sounds a tad bit racist to me. Stephen A. Smith could say, though, hey, Japanese guy can't be the face of baseball. He was born there, and he's a Japanese guy. What? What's the difference? What's the difference? I'll tell you what the difference is. Everybody's wound too tight. Everybody's wound too tight. Is the coronavirus serious? Of course it is. Nobody's not saying that. But man, it's okay to question things. It is okay to question things. It's okay to make light of things. How the hell do you think you get? Do you really want to be people that go through gloom and doom all the time? Just watch the news or listen to a talk radio show. You talk about world is ending stuff? Man, I'm so glad I don't sit around. The only reason that I've been watching the news the last couple of days, you know why? I've been watching the news the last couple of days because of our American soldiers and the incompetence of the leaders that put them in these positions where their lives are being threatened. Oh, and get this. You want to know what's even worse? They kind of like threw out earlier today, hey, be prepared. We could have another attack. Hey, thanks. Hey, thanks. Really? What gave that away? Us withdrawing? Or no, let me take that back. Us surrendering? Because we surrendered. You understand, we didn't withdraw. We're surrendering. Well, you didn't think you think there's a difference than what we did in Vietnam? Oh, we withdrew. Okay. That's not how people around the world see that. And us leaving Afghanistan the way we did, building all those facilities. I don't know, Chris, maybe you know what the number was. I think the embassy was over $1 billion that they built there. They're just leaving it. That other Air Force base that we just left with all the munitions on, with all the armored tanks and everything, we just like turned the lights off and left everything there. Raiders went in, and they're now using those weapons against us. Holy cow. Man, good night. Man, this has been an interesting week to say the least. I'm so glad we can do this. Let me give you something here. Let me lighten the room up here a little bit. I told you how much I admire Dak Prescott, the quarterback of the Cowboys. I do. I like this kid. I think he is a great example of working hard. I think he's a great example of overcoming. I think he's a great example for every single kid out there that maybe people said some things about you in your life, said you couldn't do something. Now you're one of the highest paid guys. I think he's the second highest paid guy in all the NFL, making $42 million a year. He's going to make $90 million this year with a signing bonus. I love stories like that. Tom Brady's the same kind of story. 6th-round draft choice. Everybody said he even back to his Michigan days. But here's what's got to happen here. And because Dallas is Dallas, to justify that gigantic salary that he's making, Dak's got to win a Super Bowl. Do we not agree? He's got to win a Super Bowl. You just can't pay a guy $42 million, hand him the keys to the Cowboys. You're the face of the most dominant franchise, at least publicly, in the world, and just say, well, okay, 9-8 is okay. There's more expectations on that. The expectations in Kansas City, they're paying that kid $500 million over 10 years. $500 million. You think just winning the division is going to be good enough for the Hunt family and for Chiefs fans and for Chief Kingdom? Hashtag Chief Kingdom. You think that's good enough? Of course it's not. Especially when the economics are like that. Dak's got to win. And I'll throw this at you as well. Do we not agree this? If Dak were put on the open market, you think you're paying that guy? How many teams in the NFL would pay that guy $42 million? Honestly, throw that out there. There's 32 teams. How many teams would pay Dak? Name them. Let's name them. The Cowboys, in my opinion, they overpaid for another dude on their football team. Do I think he's good? I do. Have I given him nothing but kudos? I have. Were the Cowboys boxed into a position to have to sign him? Yes. Here, let's name the teams. Name me teams you think that would pay $42 million for a quarterback that outside of the first year he started, I think he won 13 games. After that, it's been, I don't know, kind of 500 at best. Put a lot of numbers up and not a lot of wins. The guy in Detroit has a better resume, Jared Goff, as a postseason performer than Dak does. Here, what team? I don't even think the stupid Jets would do it. There's no way the Jags would do it. There's no way the Eagles would pay Dak Prescott $42 million. Where am I going with this? Telling you. When you make this kind of money and you're Jerry Jones, it's got to get to a point where, don't you look at Jerry and say this? By the way, this is not criticism of Jerry. I told you that there's no better owner in the NFL to work for than Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones. There's no, they give you the best of everything. You know, if you've not been watching the Hard Knocks, you see those facilities, they're second to none, man. Got the best of everything. By the way, that drone thing on Hard Knocks is dope. It just goes around showing you the complex. It's really cool. I like the kid. $42 million. Oh, and just a small little footnote on when I was talking about vaccinations. He was asked the question today again. And in my opinion, completely over the line by a media member. You know, it's funny. I saw Nick Wright doing the same thing again. I saw other people saying the same thing, that the players should be getting vaccinated. That's not your place. I mean, that'd be like a football player going like this. Well, you should get an AIDS test. Well, it's uncalled for. Why? Well, I don't know why, but we wouldn't, because the COVID-19's okay. It's funny. Cole Beasley, and I'll repeat here what Stephen Clark just said. Cole Beasley has tested negative. The trainers had 2 tests, and he's had both shots, and he got a booster, and he tested positive again. You have a right. And so when Dak was asked that question today, he went like this. I'm not answering that. What a dumb question. What a stupid question. I would look at that guy and go, it's none of your business, man. Since when do we have the right to ask athletes or any human being? It would be like this. You walking into a 7-Eleven and going like this, excuse me, have you been vaccinated? To know my medical history, where has that become part of our dialogue as Americans? Is it because the coronavirus that you think that you have? See, let me tell you this. Raul Manuel, am I saying his name right? No. I'm talking Raul Manuel, the guy who worked in the Obama administration. Correct. You know what he says? Never let a disaster not be used politically. Get all your agenda pushed through. Yeah. The guy was the master of that stuff. Hey, you know when things, when George Bush and the buildings fell, dude, Americans and home security and all that stuff, and people were violating people's, rights, because we were kind of in a position where we were like, yeah, man, I don't know who's coming into the country. And I think we got to make sure that I was even saying that, make sure everybody who comes into the country, it doesn't have bad intentions. I even said that. Nobody wanted that after those buildings were dropped. Right? Nobody wanted that. So now you think because we have this, we have this pandemic, that people can go over the line and they can ask people at a news conference. It's one thing to ask Dak, how's your shoulder doing? Well, the shoulder. And for the record, Dak not playing, and if he doesn't play this weekend, that means he hasn't played since last year when he got hurt, right? Cowboys really have more of an issue than what they're really kind of telling you about. I think the Cowboys really know that this thing, and as I said before, I thought it was more serious. Troy Aikman thought it was more serious. I'm not saying he's not going to be able to play through it. I'm just saying that you got Troy Aikman, you've got Michael Irvin, and you got other people in the Cowboy organization saying this thing was a little bit more serious than what the Cowboys are leading on. He didn't get any snap. I saw Patrick Mahomes. I don't know if you guys saw it too. Thank you, Paul. Never let a crisis go to waste. Rahm Manuel. Thank you. That's exactly what it was. Never let a crisis go to waste. And that's what's happened in our country. You take a crisis, you can turn it into anything, and you can get anything done with it, especially if you're in power. Because what you're doing is you're preying on people's fears. It's a great political tool. And every single politician does it. FDR did it. World War II, imagine what he was able to do. Hell, I heard stories that he put, like the kiboshes, on many stories that were being potentially printed that were negative towards some of the things that America was doing in the war during WW2. Didn't Lincoln do the same thing during the Civil War too? Lincoln was notorious for that. Our politicians have done it our entire history. That's why, again, when I hear people asking that question, are you vaccinated? Man. So look, I want to make sure that we all do this too. I'm not suggesting to you, and I don't want to come off here, I'm telling you not to, that where I'm going, and Chris, I hope make sure I'm saying it right, Chris, and make sure I want it to land. This is your right to do it. Because if I'm stumping too much on that side, I don't want it to land there. I want it to land where you feel comfortable as a human. I'm not one of these talk show guys. I told Chris last week, I fill bags of straw. I fill bags with strawberries, and I also am my wife's water boy on weekends. Okay? I have no background to be telling anybody anything. I'm an ex-jock who's been doing radio for 30 years. I have no specialization. Yes, well, I heard guys doing that today. Like, they were really like, judge, jury, and executioner. I'm like, damn, dude. Maybe I'm not selling it enough. I don't know. Or no, is it lying? It's probably lying. Maybe I'm not as good a liar as they are. Hey, do me a favor. I love these guys because he's one of my dear friends who owns podcasterwarehouse.com. Headphones, earbuds, please go there. Take a look at the website. You're looking to build a home studio like many of you have because of this pandemic. Use the promo code Sileo, S as in Sam, I-L-E-O. S as in Sam, I-L-E-O. Shipping is free. $5, $5 grand, podcasterwarehouse.com. The very untalented Dan Sileo will hit on a huge story that's in the NFL. We'll do it next. What do you mean? Yeah. Shut the hell up. Oh, yes, they are. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. You know what? Let me hook you up on something. Let me hook you up on something here. You know what cauliflower ear is? Oh, my God. Hey, no doubt, man. There's all the wrestlers that I know that. Oh, yeah. But that. I forgot because you know what? It didn't mean anything because I'm talking to something that it really, it's whatever. Yeah. No, you're something. I don't know about someone, but you're something. Yeah. I can't either. I know. I know I can't do it either. I couldn't do it either. I tried. I know. See, there's people though that I can do that stuff too. Hey, Junior, like a new producer. Oh, I could be pretty shitty on him. Kid just looks. Kid goes, "Hey, how did I do?" I'm like this. How did you do? Kid, please don't. I don't want to slap you on the back every break. Yeah. I'd be like, "Can we do it after the show?" Yeah. Oh no. If somebody does a really good like grabbing sound and does something there, you always do that, Chris. What is it? Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. Chris, I'm going to bring you on because you have the report in front of you here. Yeah, if you can, just give it, and I'll respond to it here. So we have some new news that we have some new news here with what's going on in Afghanistan. Go ahead, Chris. Okay, so for those that are also watching on our social media platform here, that the U.S. has conducted an airstrike on planners. It's ISIS-K, and multiple sources are saying that the planner and people who were involved in that killing of the 13 servicemen, there was an attack and an airstrike on them tonight. So America has responded by the orders of the President of the United States. Good. Great. Kill these guys. They're going to kill you. See, when I say it like that to you, you know what? Americans have empathy. I have empathy. The Taliban have no empathy. That's the problem in this fight. You're using suicide. I'm going to say something to you, and Chris, I want you to tell me if you think this is. Watch this. People using suicide bombers is crazy. It is crazy the conviction that these people have to try to kill Americans. It's crazy. Americans have to be in that kind of conversation. I'm not saying we have suicide bombers at all, but what the president did tonight, finding those people, this means this. Those people who are doing harm to Americans and people who help Americans, let me say this, they'll go to no ends to try to attack America. And we have to be sometimes in that gutter with those folks. I have. It's almost like do unto others. the the conviction was where I'm going with their belief and what he's saying right now is right. See, we interpret the Bible as normal human beings, but the Klan interpret the Bible in a hateful way. Just like when you take the Quran and you're people who look at the Quran and you turn it into a hateful book. These are the same people that we deal with domestically. These are the same people that we deal with each and every single time when we see a person like Sirhan Sirhan. Yes. I've also like that's also taught in like the Jewish faith. Save one, you save thousands. Correct. Schindler's List. There's a great line in it. It's a great line. I was like, damn, that's awesome. Yeah. Chris just said something in my ear. Let's lighten it up. America, they did the right thing tonight. Very good, President Biden. They had a strike on the planners of the people who were involved in the killing of the 13 servicemen. Dave Wannstedt's going to join us in hour number 2. We're going to lighten it all up again. Hit some sports. Let's jump in our sandbox. See you on the other side. Yep. That's funny. Edward R. Murrow. What the hell is this? What are you wearing? Oh God. Yeah, I told you the guy Jim Dunbar. He was Edwin R. Murrow's boy. Oh, Walter Cronkite, man. That's the way it is. For August 27th, 2021. And if you don't have more of your information, check your local chronicle. He used to always push newspapers. He was an old newspaper guy. And this reporter, after coming back from Vietnam, our opinion, the war is unattainable. Oh, geez. Takes us down and to the right. Lady Kong. Lady Kong is by his side. Jackie Kong. King Kong Memorial. Catch him. Dan Sileo, USA Radio, and our fabulous platforms. Watch this. Vaccinations and Afghanistan. Can you find two bigger downers to talk about on the radio? I learned a lesson in the last hour. I did. And I know better. It's funny, Chris is in my ear going like this. Come on, man. Let's, he's right. Anytime you go down those two avenues, you think you're looking for a response? What? I mean, what? Do you know that in your heart, do you know that it incites one side and it repels another side? And it's funny, huh? You could say just certain key words. Trump, MAGA, vaccinations, Biden, Afghanistan, Dallas Cowboys. It kind of, they're kind of these hot button words, aren't they? We all prey on that. Again, I would have to think that that's how you came up with Twitter. That's how Jack came up with it, no? How can you take hot button words and make it into a social media platform where you could get people to respond, knowing full well that half of the people are going to like it and half of the people are not going to like it? Do you think personally that Twitter was invented to divide our country? Or do you think it was really built on the basis of giving people an opportunity to have a platform where they could speak their mind? Because that's not what the case is any longer. They bar it. And I think you should bar some things. I do. Like, I don't think that the Taliban guy should have a Twitter account. The 45th president of the United States should not. Okay, I don't care what people say on that. And see, that's a hot button thing too, isn't it? It is. Chris is right, man. Funny, man. When you And nowadays I look at this and I look at Twitter and I go, what's trending? What are people talking about? That's how I kind of build my show, because one thing I've learned about social media, they're not wrong when it comes to the topics that people are talking about. Like Chris says, okay, name me something that's happy right now going on in our country. Sports, right? I'm watching exhibition football. I'm watching the Vikings and the Chiefs. Okay? Is that a hot button thing for people? Not in my profession right now. Exhibition football. The only thing you could possibly say about it is, the NFL charges you full price for half the product. I mean, I know it's not really one of my favorite things to sit around breaking down exhibition football, because 90% of the guys that are on the field tonight are going to be cut. So to sit around and talk about that, I would have to think that people are probably going to go like this. I don't know. Not interested, Sills. But they're interested in how the professional sports teams, I think, are handling the vaccinations. I think they're interested in teams like the Cowboys. I do. Cowboys are always interesting because the owner's interesting. The owner is how about this? Would we not agree? Jerry Jones is the Donald Trump of owners in America. And I mean that with due respect to Jerry Jones, that he's a polarizing figure. I'm not saying he has the same weaknesses and strengths as Donald Trump and vice versa. I'm saying that they're both polarizing people. That's what I cover. I cover polarizing stories. I don't cover stories just to cover them. Here, well, let me give you some mundane, stupid-ass story out of Seattle that nobody cares about. I talk about things that people are talking about today. That's why my show is timely. People that the worst radio show I have ever heard are people that break down NBA trades. That's not what I do. I'll talk about a team that made a trade that had to make a trade because the fan base demands it, especially when you're paying the type of ticket money to go to these games. When you pay to go to a Dallas Cowboy game, you better get a 10-plus win team. Those ticket prices are not cheap. That's how I look at the game. I look at it from a fan's perspective. Okay, I'm going to a Dallas Cowboy game. You know this stat here? I'm going to throw this at you. Do you know that 97% of the American football fan, NFL, has never been to an NFL professional game? Never been to an NFL game. Crazy, isn't it? Because most of the people are on the television watching it. They're watching it on their TV. That's what the NFL wants. They don't want you in the stadiums. Those stadiums aren't built for you, the football fan. They're not. They're built for other things so that the owners can make more money doing other things outside of football. You think Jerry Jones makes all of his money by hosting Cowboy games at that facility in Arlington? Come on, man. Jerry puts other events in that building. He tries to put as many events a year in that building. How many home games do you get a year? Counting preseason, what, 10? So 10 weekends out of 52. You think that's going to cover that stadium and what that stadium and the amount of money that Jerry owes on it still? You're going to put as many things as you possibly can. Again, circling back, talking about things that matter. Sports is a great, great escape. Chris says this all the time. Chris, oh my guy. Happy hour of radio. It's funny. This week has been a challenge. I won't lie to you. This week's been a challenge. I mean, Chris and I thought when the American soldiers and servicemen were killed, 13 of them, we thought it was a good thing to pause the show. I paused the stream show as well. You know, we were just talking in the break here, lighten it up, really. Hard to think like that. But what's good about it and what I'm watching and what we're all talking about, what can I take my mind off it? Can you take your mind off that right now? Are you constantly looking on your phone on what's going on with our servicemen and women? I am. But that's the empathy of our great country. I think that's what makes us great. I'm watching a football game, checking my phone. Chris is keeping me updated on what's going on. That's the beautiful thing about getting through situations that we're going through this week. Would we not agree that this week has been one of the most challenging weeks? Give me another week. Maybe, Chris, you can think about, give me another week, and I'm not talking with politics. Give me another week where all Americans were galvanized as one. Because you have to think this. I'll tell you what, in times of tragedy in our country, I think we come together with things like this. Don't listen to the media. I think we all sit there and we're watching. We're not stupid. See, the people that cover us think we're stupid, and the people that represent us think we're stupid, but we're not. Sports brings us together. I think things like this bring us together, don't you? I have talked to more people who said this. I don't care how this thing plays out here. I just know this. The last 4 presidents can all stand in line and take their own slice of the pie for the fault of what's going on in Afghanistan. And they're right. I think that's what kind of brings us together. That's a team aspect too, this team concept. It is. Hey, sorry, dude. I didn't pull my weight, man. I let that runner get through. He scored the touchdown. That's on me. That's accountability. We're seeing some of this now. I like it. Today was a good day. Okay? We retaliated against the people who hurt our soldiers, sent a message, I hope, and also sent a message on our way of life. I'll tell you 2 things that this country, I don't know how you look at it, but our country's been through a lot in the last 2 years. Whoa, a lot. Presidential election. I'm going to say something too. Do you know, I don't know if you're watching it, Chris, but I'm looking at Arrowhead. It's packed for an exhibition game. People want to go, and they want to go back to these stadiums. That's also a great sign. I'm looking at it. It's packed. They got 50,000 fans in the building for an exhibition game. That's a great sign for what's to come this fall. I am throttled to see that. I'm happy to hear that. That's a great thing, man. It's a great thing. Happy? Sure. Because this weekend, it's final weekend of preseason football. The real game starts. Got to keep an eye on what's going on in Afghanistan. Men and women are fighting. I don't know about you, but I find it hard to concentrate when I've got our soldiers. Isn't that crazy? When I got our soldiers in harm's way, giving kids candy bars and water, putting them on those planes to bring them to America. I think about those guys all the time and what they're thinking about, how tired they must be. So I could sit and talk sports, and we can all be so proud. I tell you this, I'm so proud of those guys. Whew. You talk about the great heroes. Aren't those guys heroes? Man. Hey, go save those people. Sure. Okay. Would you do it? Could you leave your home? Put your life on the line? Maybe never see your loved ones again? Because it's like being a police officer, isn't it? Leave your house every night. You don't know if you're going to come home. I think what's happened here, I think it's going to send America into a different direction. And I think it's going to send it into a positive direction. Because Americans are not dumb. We're not dumb. We see what's on the TV. We know what's going on. And you know what? I don't need a narrator, or I don't need anybody else to tell me and dissect it for me. The best way to watch the news or even a sporting event is with sound down. I'll make my own assessment. Because that's all commentators are. Commentators put their spin on what you're seeing. And sometimes we get conditioned to believe it. Am I right? Sometimes you get conditioned. That's why you get it unfiltered. Chris just mentioned the name Walter Cronkite. Man, whatever happened to those dudes? I wonder, could Cronkite make it today? I'm not sure. I'm not sure because Cronkite never had an opinion. By the way, Dave Wannstedt, we're going to talk some football at the bottom of the hour with the two-time Super Bowl champion coach. He's with Fox Sports. We will talk with him. That'll be at the bottom. Also, want to throw something at you here too. And this is baseball related. It's about the Yankees. I want to hit on it. We'll do it next. You keep it here on the Dan Sileo Show. Has that A's game started yet? Andy Reid's filling out that red sweater, dude. I don't know, man. You know, it depends on after I have to go see that guy and I have to slap his ass around a little bit. Maybe you don't have to. No. Yes, I threw him around the cell block a couple times and jumped up and down on him, and you know it still stuck and stayed with his contour. And I believe it was an orange case too. How long is that interview? Good. Yes, honey. My aunt was upset with me because she saw my readers that were. She actually even dropped an F-bomb on me. My readers are broken. And by the way, I'm not allowed to cough. I'm not allowed to cough. Easy. Easy. Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. Dave Wannstedt will join us at the bottom of the hour. I'm reading Stephen Clark here. You must know me very well. Because he brought up Chris, I got a radio thing here before I get to the Yankees. Real quick here. So this producer guy that they put, okay, so this was my kind of my last gig before the Phoenix thing was at this other company. And so they put this dude in, I won't name the guy's name. We'll just go like this, S. Okay? Rhymes with meth. Okay, it rhymes with meth. Yeah, Beth, sure. Okay, so they put this guy in. He really wanted this job. He begged me this and that. Begged me. Oh, yes, begged me. So in the middle of a segment, I'm like, hey, dude, we just missed the break. And he goes, we did, didn't we? and I went, yeah, we did. So he gets up. He does a circle in the studio. Then he lays down. No. Wait, he laid down in the studio for 3 segments as it was just going through. We just were playing music. It was just like, then it was dead air. He wouldn't get up. That guy went and told my boss that I was mean to him, and he couldn't work with me. Yes, that's exactly what I said. I go, hey, meth. Hey, meth head. We just missed the break. Now we've missed 3 of them. He went and said, he goes like this, Dan's just too mean to work with. Because what they did was they took a reputation that people had said that was not existing. Because anybody who's ever worked with me, you know, Chris, we have no way, never in a million years. I'm not like that. I try to help people as much as I possibly can to get ahead. And so, yeah, no, he did. Somebody just reminded me of that. No. So they came in and they go, Dan, are you being? I go, why would you look at me like that? I go, this guy's on the floor and he's passed out. He needs to have some guy come with a piece of paper and a pad. And they're like, oh, no, yeah, okay. So, yeah. Those are the kind of folks I've worked with. That's a radio moment. Surely you've had moments like that. Yeah, Chris. See, but Chris has the power to do this. Oh, yeah, I can fire him. Yeah. Real quick, Chris, let me say this to you about your Yankees. Hold on. I'm going to say this about your Yankees. They're playing great ball right now. Best winning streak since 1963. He thinks I'm throwing the reverse juju in him. Okay? Best winning streak since 1963. Hold on. No, I'm not. I'm a Yankee. No. Here's this, though. I still don't believe they have the starting pitching. But then again, when people start telling me that, this is not about starting pitching in today's baseball. This is more about, do you have enough bullpen? That's my question on the Yankees, is their bullpen. I love it. He hates it. Go to podcasterwarehouse.com. Dave Wants That is next. You keep it right here on the Dan Sileo Show. Gotcha, brother. Fox News. Hey, you think we're just going to have an Air Force one day of just drones? I love that, don't you? We don't. Right. My wife said that. And the world would feel that you were justified to do it. But again, it comes down to the people in our government not having the backbone for it. They're talking about racism all the time. How about talking about things that truly matter? Debt ceiling, infrastructure, true infrastructure, COVID-19, homeless. Jesus criminy, Chris. Does anybody ever address that? That's so sad, man. A country with our wealth and our position on the planet there should be none of that. End racism? Hey, dude, end homelessness because that affects all races. Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. Thank you, Coach Wanstaff, for coming aboard with us. I can't wait to see one football player this coming year. You know who that is? Tom Brady. I really can't wait. You know, he's 44, right? Is it possible that Tom Brady does this? He wins another Super Bowl, and on his final, I think it's in Los Angeles too. In his final game, he just wins the game. He wins his 8th Super Bowl. He calls it a career in front of the entire world and says, okay, I'm out. How great is that? It would be his 11th. Would that be his 11th Super Bowl? It would be. Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. Do you know what that here, I'm going to make it a point to you here. You know, if Brady goes to the Super Bowl again this year, it would have meant that every other year that he played in the league, he went to the Super Bowl as a starting quarterback. You will never see the likes of him ever again. And I was asked the question, do you think Brady has his greatest year? I think this about Tom going into 2021. Another comment about Brady too here. I think this about him. If Brady's healthy and he's able to stay upright, Brady's going to have his greatest season of all time. Because I think Brady is going to use this last year. I think in his mind, he wants to go out the same way John Elway did. With a win, another MVP, and the complete stamp of being the greatest player in the history of the NFL. And will we not also do this? You know, I don't like to do this, and I'm going to do something here, and I'm hearing people say this. And I want to show you something that even Brady knows this. You know, people are saying that Tom Brady exposed Bill Belichick for the coach he truly is. It's not true. I've learned something in radio like I learned in football. Tonight, I'm on the air because of Chris O'Sullivan. When I was in Tampa, it was because of Derek Sharp. I know all the good ones. When I was in Miami, it was because of Joy Taylor. I had a really good team around me when I was in those places of success. And those people helped me elevate my career and become the person that they know that I was to make that show successful, which made them look successful, which it did. Tom Brady could never in a million years have ever been Tom Brady without Bill Belichick. Don't let media people who have never played sports at any level. By the way, if you played high school football or you played any organized sport, you know what I'm talking about. It doesn't have to be NFL. You know you need a team. If you don't have a team to help you get across the finish line, I don't care who you are. And by the way, your family is part of that team to help you get to where you need to get to. So it all goes hand in hand here. It really does. Tom Brady could never be, in a million years, the guy he ever became. Because if he didn't have Bill Belichick teaching him what it was about to be successful and a champion, he never would have fulfilled that. You can't become a success by yourself. It's a journey with people involved in it. You know, I first got into radio, I thought I could do it all by myself. Right. Chris just breathed in my ear. Oof. Then I got to my first failure. My first failure was in Miami. Even though I had decent ratings, I still got fired because I didn't trust the people around me, and I didn't like the people around me. That's because I didn't make it work. I'm the quarterback, like Tom is. Guy makes it work everywhere. He proves it in Tampa. Guy proved it in Tampa. I'm so looking forward. This is going to be the year, in my opinion, of Tom. Will they repeat? Will he bow out? Will this be the final year? Will it be too much for him not to want to come back? I can't wait. And no, he did not expose Belichick. All right. We'll reset. You keep it right here on the Dan Sileo Show. Oh, dude, I know that for a fact. That's what it is.